G'day everyone, Liam O'Brien here back on the Inner Sanctum YouTube channel. Around these parts you normally find me riding, boxing, talking to fighters, all that good stuff, but today I want to try something a little bit different. I'm just going to talk to the camera and talk boxing. Now this weekend coming up is June 16th to 18th, and it's a massive weekend. Now the crown jewel on the Sunday, Tim Tszyu fighting Carlos Ocampos for the interim WBO Super Welterweight title. We know Jermell Charlo's out, he's inactive. That title could quite easily be bumped up to the regular champion, but who knows. Either way, massive fight, huge event up there on the Gold Coast. But 2 days earlier over in Perth, we've got a massive fight as well that I just don't think is getting enough credit from boxing circles in this country, and it's Alex Winwood. He's a 2020 Tokyo Olympian. He's 2022 Commonwealth Games captain over in Birmingham, and he's taking on the number 5 guy in the world, Raniaris Gutierrez from Nicaragua. So I want to delve into that fight a little bit and what we can expect, but also just really talk it up and really talk up the fact that these are two young guys, both have zeros on their names, who are risking absolutely everything to go to that next level. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we do, I want everyone to hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn the bell on for notifications, and really support us at the channel, because we're doing great things across all sports and we want to give you some great content. So if you could be so inclined, we'd really appreciate it. Now let's begin. So a bit of a disclaimer off the top. I want to make the point that this may come across as a little bit of No Limit Boxing hate, and that's really not my intention. No Limit Boxing are the biggest promoter in the country. They've got the biggest platform. Do I wish they give me a little bit more bang for my buck in terms of regularity, given that they've got the exclusive rights to boxing on Foxtel? Sure. I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to want. However, the best that they can deliver is the absolute best in this country, and that is in the form of guys like Tim Tszyu, guys like Sam Goodman, who they matchmake incredibly well. They give them incredible styles clashes, I should say, in all their fights. For evidence, look no further than Tim Tszyu since the Jeff Horn fight. You look at who he's been matched up against. He's had all different styles, all different looks, and look at where it's got him. He's now on the verge of becoming undisputed champion if the Jermell Charlo fight gets done. Don't want to take anything away from that. However, I think as boxing fans, as boxing people, as boxing critics, as boxing writers, we've got to look outside of that main promotion and really realise that the sport in this country is on a massive high at the moment. Jason Maloney 2 weeks ago, or however long ago it was at the time of recording, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago now, won a world title over in the US. An incredible achievement. His brother fought the week after, and albeit got stopped pretty badly, but even so, the fact that these guys are regularly putting themselves into big spots, and the Maloneys are just one example, is incredible for the sport, I think. And the fight that I want to talk about today, where Alex Winwood is doing the same, is worthy of our praise, but also worthy of our attention. And so that's really where I want to deep dive. That's where I want to start. Now, Alex Winwood is 2 fights into his professional career, and he is fighting the number 5 ranked WBC strawweight in the world. Now, Alex is ranked at light flyweight from his last fight. With, I forget the gentleman's name, he's from Indonesia, held a record of 21-2 before the bout. So Alex is going into that fight now with 2 pro fights to his name, and he's looking like being ranked not only at light flyweight, but at minimum weight, where his opponent, Raniaris Gutierrez, holds a ranking with all 4 major bodies. That's incredibly special. That is so special. For a kid who's come out of the Commonwealth Games. He was, scorned by boxing, really, with the stoppage that he suffered over there against a guy who he was beating in Patrick Chinyemba from Zambia. Could have quite easily hung the gloves up and said, "Nah, stuff it, I don't want to be a part of this sport," but had a fire lit under him, and really challenged by guys like Angelo Hyder and Tony Tolter in his corner, and really, had the acid put on him and said, you're good enough. You are good enough. And he's going out here and he's not leaving any stone unturned from the get-go to try and show where he can go in this sport. And I just think that's incredibly special. All too often boxing fans, whether it be guys who are on the biggest stage, and we complain about, we're not getting the big fights, and look how much, Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, for example, got so much praise because they said, nah, we've both got zeros, but we're going to throw our hats into the ring at this stage of our career, both before they were the age of 26. And, it's very rare in boxing these days. And this is a kid on the Australian scene who's just going hell for leather. I think we should really be praising that and really taking our hats off to him. Conversely, he's fighting a teenager, and this guy's 9-0, only got the 2 KOs, so not a huge puncher. But the fact of the matter is, he's undefeated, he's ranked with all 4 bodies in his weight class, and he could have quite easily stayed in Central America or gone to South America and beaten up on guys and padded his record out to 20-0 and climbed all the rankings and made himself a mandatory for a couple of bodies. But he's not doing that. He's taking his chance of being the B-side so far away from home. It's a brutal 14-15 hour flight he's going to take, or he has taken, to get here to fight the A-side in his hometown, who has all the hype behind him from the promotion, I should say. Probably not so much from the mainstream media. That's what we're talking about today. From humble beginnings, Nicaragua's got a population of 6 million. It's not the most affluent country in the world, and he's taken that chance as a teenager. This is an amazing fight, and to the winner goes all the spoils. Alex has thrown his hat into the ring, and he's daring to be great. Raniaris Gutierrez is taking the chance of a lifetime in the hope that he can solidify his spot and get a really legit win before the age of 20. That's incredible. It really is incredible. I cannot praise this fight enough. Now, if we want to break down a few X's and O's, there's a lot of tape out there on Gutierrez for any Australian boxing fan that might like to find it. Just type his name into YouTube, you'll find 5 or 6 of his pro fights out of 9, so you get a good cross-section of what he's about. And I took a few notes, and one thing that I really do like is that he finishes combinations with a 3-punch. So he'll come up top with a left hook after he's worked the body in combinations. He really uses his jab to get into range. But outside of that, he doesn't really have a big KO punch. So that's something that Alex could look to exploit. If Alex, who is that classical sort of Maloney style fighter, out of the Angelo Hyder system, who will keep his hands high, but he'll move into close range and look to work, whether it's body, whether it's head, and incredibly quick hands. That is something that he could exploit. One thing about Gutierrez is he backs up straight quite a lot. In a lot of his fights, you'll find him backing up in a straight line. That's not something you want to do against a march forward fighter like Alex Winwood and someone who's as knowledgeable and as tactically sound as Angelo Hyder in his corner. That could be something they could look to exploit. Another thing that he does is that he wears a lot of damage on the inside. He's not as defensively sound at that range, so mid-range he'll be very good. He'll be slipping. He'll be circling off to the side and countering. Or he'll be L-stepping and he'll be resetting the start of the action. But in close range, if Alex can get in there, he's not defensively sound. He doesn't use his gloves. He doesn't catch a lot on the hands. He generally takes them on the chin. if I'm brutally honest. So there's enough variables in this fight to make it an action-packed fight. Now, for Alex, he's only had the 2 professional fights. I've just talked up all his traits. I've talked up all of his strengths in the sense that he will move forward. He's got incredibly quick hands, but we just don't have a huge sample size on how he'll go as a pro. He's at a better weight class for him, obviously as an amateur, going as low as flyweight. Sorry, excuse me. He was fighting one, and in this case, now he's at minimum weight, 2 weight classes above where he's meant to be. So yes, you can use the amateur experience as sort of looking at his acquisition of skills, but I mean, in terms of professional experience, it's not really great data for us to be looking at. You look at his other 2 fights, and he's ended them pretty quickly against opposition that I would say at this stage of their career skillfully below him. So there's a lot of variables there that make this a fun fight and make it a really intriguing narrative. It's just unfortunate it's sort of been lost in the shuffle a little bit behind Tim Tszyu's fight with Ocampo, and also on that weekend as well, Sammy Goodman's fighting Ray Salim, so in a world title eliminator at super bantamweight. So it's kind of hard. I understand for boxing fans. There's so much stuff out there that you might get a little bit oversaturated, particularly if you follow the world boxing scene and you've got major promotions on every single weekend. But if you're a true fight fan who's really wanting our fighters to fight the best and go out there and give it 100% and not shy away from any challenge, well, this is a fight for you. I understand times are tough economically. You don't have to talk to anyone else other than this guy to know. But $16 this fight card's going to cost you on Fight TV. That's a pretty good bargain for a fight of this magnitude that has this kind of ramifications for Australian boxing and also, for the world rankings. Alex wins this, he become a top 5 fighter with the WBC in his 3rd fight. Now, I know a lot's been made of Paulo Alcuzo's sort of quest to become the guy to break Jeff Fennick's record of a world title in his 7th fight, but Alex could be really knocking on the door of a top 5 ranking if he wins this fight. And he's got work to do in his next 4 fights to try and make that dream a reality. That'd be stunning. That'd be stunning, and it would really shine a light on our lower weight classes, which have been historically very good for us on a world level. This is a fight fan's fight. If you're a true fight fan, and I'm not disparaging you, if you want to watch No Limit on this weekend, I certainly will be. That doesn't make you any less of a fight fan. But if you are a hardcore Aussie boxing fan who really wants to see our guys under the green and gold and under the Southern Cross fight their fight and go out there and put it all on the line, this is the fight for you. And I think Alex will, he'll show that. He's showing that the way he's going about his career, but he doesn't leave any stone unturned, and he's going to have a go out there, and he is going to put on a show. And I don't think Gutierrez is a bad customer in terms of wanting to put on a show either. He's an exciting fighter. Expect fireworks over there in Perth. That's all I've really got to say. It's not so much a berating or a sort of lecture on what you should be doing as a fight fan, but more so, give this fight the support you need, because at the end of the day, we are going through an incredibly special period in Australian boxing right now. 4 world champions. If you include Tim Tszyu's interim title, we've got 4 world champions: Bridges, Opetaia, Maloney, and Tszyu. We've got guys knocking on the door seemingly every other weekend. Sammy Goodman's also going to be doing the same, and Alex is no exception. So this is a fight you want to watch. This is a fight Australian boxing needs you to watch, and have fun doing it, because we're really being treated to a special fighter here in Alex Winwood. That's all I've got to say. Thank you for watching. Again, like, subscribe, notifications, tell a friend about what we're doing here, and enjoy the fights, guys. Really appreciate it.